what if I have a bunch of digital assets? Because like domestically, you pretty much have to fund these policies with cash, right? So there's really not a meaningful way to get your digital assets into these policies yet. Depends on what they end up getting regulated as and what the frameworks end up being. And
Sure.
we're still a lot on the table trying to sort through that. But offshore, is that a possibility? Could you actually fund the policy in kind, or is it still going to be a cash contribution?
Sure. So it is possible to evaluate that. So one of the ways that we look at that situation is different countries have different qualifications, rules that say, okay, this is real life insurance and you're going to get the tax treatment of life insurance. A US or Canadian compliant policy. So if you live here or have any connection to the United States or Canada, those contributions are going to have to be in cash for you to stay compliant. If you do not require a US or Canadian compliant policy, and you have no nexus to the United States or Canada, it is possible to fund policies what we would call in kind. You have to be very wary. There are ways that things need to be done to satisfy investor control, diversification that needs to occur after contribution and things like that. But the short answer, Jake, is it's going to take some planning and a conversation. But yes, if you do not have a United States or a Canadian nexus, funding your policy in kind with digital assets can be done.
There you go. So we work with people globally. We have people from the Middle East and UAE, and we've got people, Europe and
And it'll benefit them, but it's also subject to change. Like you said, there is so much development and uncertainty around the legislation of cryptocurrency. Is it possible that US folks can be able to fund it with crypto in the future? I can't say that it's impossible. I can tell you that you can't do it today, but it's still important to be aware of the mechanisms because like we said, this is a developing market, developing legislation. It's a new frontier.